climb in the number of available homes for sale may be slowing down. Let's talk about that and more in this week's segment of Market Watch. Hi everyone, it's Joshua Barks, Associate Broker at Keller Williams Realty Boise and Team Lead of the Barks & Co. Real Estate Team. I appreciate you being here to check out this week's update in the Boise area housing market. Next week is going to be our deep dive because we're getting into the end of July here. I can't believe summer is almost over. Back to school is going to be here before you know it. So next week's going to be that deep dive covering July because we're into August next week. So first off, let's just try to keep this week short and go over some highlights for you. The most important thing I think to note this week is that inventory is starting to level off. We're no longer seeing 100 new homes come on the market consistently every week. 100 new change in the overall inventory. So what we're seeing is 1,628 homes are available for sale right now. Last week we had 1,606. So we only saw a gain in 22 homes on the market for sale week over week. And prior to that, we had like 1,566, so about 40 new listings. But if you go weeks prior to that, all the way back to about the mid to end of May, we were seeing 100 homes. So we went from 900 to 1,000 to 1,200 to 1,300 to 1,400 to 1,500 and now here at 1,600. And that over 100 homes available in overall inventory has started to slow down, which is, I think, good. Shows we're finally starting to potentially really stabilize in that available inventory segment of the market. Now, if you look at the number of new listings coming to market, that has actually declined for the third week in a row. We have 223 new listings came to market in the last 7 days. Last week we had 225, so barely a difference there. The week prior to that, we had like 260, so still decreasing there. Then when you flip over to pending home sales, this is Momo. Hi, everyone say hi to Momo. She doesn't, yeah, you wanted to be on camera, so there you go. And we have 574 pending overall. When we are looking at last week, we had 550, and for the past couple of weeks, we've been kind of hovering around that 550 mark, which is, so demand is pretty much staying stable. But we've also seen on a week over week basis, so the number of new contracts going pending has been increasing. We've actually seen it increase. This is also the third week in a row. So 175 homes went under contract in the last 7 days. So 175 buyers bought homes in the last 7 days compared to the week prior when we had 156. And then a couple weeks prior to that, we had 129. So we're seeing an increase every week so far for the past 3 weeks in available or in buyers buying homes. So inventory is leveling off. We're still seeing more listings come to market than people are buying, but inventory is leveling off and demand looks like there's a bit of an uptick there as we round up kind of close to the end of summer. When you're looking at the average days on market though, average days on market for everything that's available for sale right now is 38 days. So the ones that are still for sale and don't have offers on them. If you look at the ones that are just pending, we have 25 days on market is the average. So the average days on market before somebody's buying a house, going under contract, getting an accepted offer is 25 days for everything that's pending right now in Ada County. Now, you probably recall that with the market dynamics, we look at the last 12 months of sales, so the homes that are actually closed, and look at the average days on market for those. And the average days on market was, I believe, 16. And because of these numbers, the 25s, pendings being in the 20s, I'm expecting us to see the average days on market for the past 12 months in sales continuing to increase as we get throughout the year. Prior to the pandemic, we were in the high 20s. I think it was like 26 days. And so in the pits of it with the average days on market, I think we got down to like 8 days for the average days on market for the past 12 days. So 12 months. So that's going to be increasing. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like next week for the market dynamics, what the actual 12-month rolling average days on market is. And then at the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an average days on market for the past 12 months of sales be in the 20s, or at least close to 20. That's kind of my prediction there. When you're looking at homes closed, the number of sales, we had 137 homes sell in the last 7 days. So close officially, buyers probably got keys on those. And the week prior, we had 144. Average days on market for the ones that have sold in the past couple of weeks is about 20 days. So again, that kind of lines up with our average days on market increasing. We are still seeing lots of price reductions out there. Pricing is going to be super important, as well as condition, because buyers have 1,600 homes to choose from, which is fantastic. On the flip side of that, interest rates also dipped slightly this week. We actually came down 0.25% according to Freddie Mac's report. Average interest rate for 30-year fixed right now is 5.30%. And then because the Fed met earlier this week, they did raise the Fed rate by 0.75%, so 0.75% increase in the Fed rate this week. So we will likely see mortgage rates rise again next week in reaction to the Fed increasing the Fed rate this week. So that's something to keep an eye out for. And that's pretty much what we have for this week. Summer is still staying pretty consistent. Demand staying pretty consistently strong. Inventory is starting to level off, which is good. And we're seeing less bidding wars. Interest rates are kind of flattening out as well. They've kind of been bouncing around in that early 5s to late 5s, so kind of right around 5.5 for the past month or so. So luckily no longer, going up 0.5% every week, which was kind of a nightmare in May and June, but we're, I think, maybe stabilizing there as well. Too soon to tell with that, but that's kind of what I think we're seeing. If you have any questions about what's going on in the marketplace, or maybe you're considering a move this summer or fall, summer's coming to a close pretty quick, so it's a great time to meet with a real estate professional that you trust. And even if you're not planning on moving until maybe after the holidays in the early next year, or even next spring, it's never too early to meet with a real estate professional to really plan on what you want to do. Winter is a decent time to get some of those home projects that you've been putting off done, because then you can even potentially enjoy them through the holidays prior to actually listing your home for sale next year. That's kind of my 2 cents there, and we will see you next week for Market Watch and our deep dive.